Alright, so that stopped recording about 5 minutes ago. Awesome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Gab. I'm your host, Gabby Lundy, and today we're going to be talking about representation of people with disabilities in the media. And I'm going to focus more on people with physical disabilities more so than mental disorders or mental disabilities because I think that deserves its whole other video. It's a whole other slew of problems to get into. So today we're just going to do a short introduction of people with disabilities. tvtropes.org is a great website. It is a wiki, so does have a lot of collaborators. It is changing constantly, but I still see it as a very good source for finding TV tropes because of the quantity, actually. And what I see with this is that a lot of people can see a lot of things and put all those things together. And so, two of the big tropes that I want to focus on, one of them has three subtropes among the many listed, because I think there's a lot of overlap, is that of the bitter/sassy crip and the super crip. These words aren't really used on the TV Tropes website, but I've seen them used in other contexts, so I'm going to interchange them a little bit. But for the bitter/sassy crip, it's that a person with disabilities is bitter about their disabilities. They have a certain snark and sarcasm that comes along with it because they feel bitter about their lives and their disability and being disabled. And I don't think that's fair because I think people with disabilities can live very fulfilling lives, and that's very true, and there are a bunch of diverse personalities within people with disabilities. It doesn't make everyone bitter and depressed and angry with the world. And the next thing we see is the inspirationally disabled person in media. That's the other big trope that we're going to talk about today. So we're going to see three subtropes that I want to talk about. The first one is the super crip, where a person has a disability, but their disability is counteracted with this great brilliance or artistic value or other type of strength. And we see this with Daredevil. Daredevil is blind due to a chemical spill, but the chemicals and training and some other mutant thing makes it so that his other senses make up for his lack of seeing, and he can still see distance and things like that with hearing and things like that. And so his disability is counterbalanced with this great super strength. And this trope is really damaging because a person with disabilities doesn't need to be counterbalanced with a super strength. Because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean you need to be an expert painter to make up to society or something for having a disability. There's no requirement for that, and these type of messages kind of say that. And the second subtrope we see with the inspirationally disabled person is that of the... Alright, and the second trope that we see is the congratulations, you did a normal able-bodied person thing. And that's just really offensive because a lot of people with disabilities are capable of leading what we deem normal lives every day. Some storylines of this include graduating high school and going on a date and just other more mundane tasks that it's congratulations, you did this with a person with a disability and that's so inspiring. And that's just really demeaning and puts people with disabilities down as being helpless and they live less fulfilling lives than able-bodied people do. And the third and perhaps most offensive characterization trope of people with disabilities is the serving as an inspiration for the protagonist. And what we see here is that a person with disabilities will come in at this scene. Maybe they've been throughout the story, or maybe they're just in this one scene, which is even worse. But the hero needs to make a choice, or needs to feel a certain way to make a choice. And the person with disabilities is there to inspire them with a very special lesson, as tvtropes.org puts it. And that is just super annoying to me. And it's annoying because people with disabilities do not live to inspire able-bodied people. They're just living their lives to live their lives. We don't need a hero to come in and be like, oh, I am so much more grateful, or insert other emotion here now that I've seen your tragic story, so I'm gonna go out and do my hero thing. No. No. People with disabilities only need to live their lives. They do not need to make videos to inspire others. They do not need to share their stories so that you can be more grateful or work harder or anything like that. That is not a requirement. That is not some thing that is built into their lives, anything required of them. And it's kind of ableist to look at people and treat people with disabilities this way. And that's all I have for you for this episode of The Gab today. We talked a little bit about why I'm only talking about general physical disabilities today. We talked about some tropes with people with disabilities might see in the media. My question of the day is, are you a member of any of these communities and feel like you can talk about whether or not these depictions are accurate, or maybe they are accurate for their characters but not your own life? Let me know in the comments below. I have some new blog posts up as well, so make sure to check out my blog in the description below. We talk a little bit about the Oscars, and I start to bring in some of the terms that I've been using and starting to talk about them a little bit more as well. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I also have a Facebook page and a Twitter. My Twitter, I retweet a lot of accounts like Geeks of Color, Black Girl Nerds, things like that. Other people who fit the groups I talk about and have way more perceptions and opinions, and have their hands in so many other pies. So if you want to see a little bit more about comic books, a little bit more about TV shows, things like that, definitely check out my Twitter and follow the people that I retweet. And that's all I have on this episode of The Gab. Remember, you, as the audience, have power.